Alrighty, in this video we're going to be creating the pin slider block. One thing that I forgot to do for my last part is, remember, we always want to name our parts, and so I'm going to name this screw slider block. So we always want to make sure we name those parts. What we're going to end up doing is, you might be looking at the pin slider and the screw slider, and we see that there are some similarities between those. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of how they are similar, and if I right click my screw slider block, I'm going to go ahead and click duplicate. Now what that's going to allow me to do is rename this, and what I can actually do is I can create the pin slider by using some of the steps that we use for the screw slider. Now this is because the geometry of these parts is identical in some aspects. The things that we do want to take off though is this hex, the little hex cutout that we created. We do want to take that out. All right. Another thing I'm going to do is take out this sketch here too. All right, so in terms of the chamfers, yes, we are still going to have these chamfers on all of these sides. That is the case for the pin slider block. However, when looking at the pin slider block by this profile right here on the right view, we do notice that there is a fillet tool on this actually applied. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to specify that fillet that needs to be applied here as well as here. Now the radius of curvature for that is 0.25, which is 1/4 of an inch, and that is typical, meaning the right side and left side are both that. So now we've got that part created. What we can now do is we're going to take advantage of the actual hole tool in Onshape. So what we've got to do is we first got to specify a point. So on this top face here, I'm going to go ahead and specify a point. That point is going to be where we're going to actually apply that hole there. And so now if I end up clicking on the hole tool, I can end up using a counter bore is what I'm going to select, because on our technical drawing we have the actual counter bore. And so now what I can do is I can click on this, and then we can specify some information. So the hole type, we've got it drilled out. The drill size is going to end up being, in this particular case, we want to have 0.165 for the diameter. So we can put that in here, 0.165, press enter. And then that's going to be the start plane, start from part, and then we want to go through all, so through the entire part. Now the second one, this is going to be the actual counter bore head to this hole. So it's going to be 0.177, and then in terms of that depth, we're going to specify 0.633. And so now this is actually created that particular counter bore hole that we need, and we've actually created our entire pin slider part. What we're going to go ahead and do before we end this is we do need to rename our part. We're going to put pin slider block. There we go. So that is how we create the screw slider as well as the pin slider. Hope that was helpful. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Catch y'all later. Bye bye.